What is going on, everybody? This is the Wolf of Roto Street of rotostreetjournal.com here with another daily draft wizard. It is right between 5 and 6. I'm going to try to crank as many of these out as I can. I got Taco Tuesday coming up soon, so I can't be here too long. But the reason this one in particular is so exciting is because we got our Madden winner announcement. As you can see here on the screen, I've got the random name generator, the random name picker. I want to let the audience build a little bit. I want to see some of the guys that I know really entered this thing and tried to win it and subscribed and reviewed. We entered all your names into a random generator, so we got all those tags and whatnot. I'm going to press that start button and randomly generate a name, but first I'm going to get a mock draft done to kind of let that audience build and make sure we do it. So again, we're going to announce our Madden winner tonight, but until then, we're going to do a quick draft here. I've got it all set up. It's for my guy Justin. He's going to be drafting out of the 12 out of 12 spots, so right at the bottom of the snake. 2 running backs, 2 receivers, full PPR league, and then we'll go about announcing that winner. So if you're tuned in, and if you've been trying to win that prize, we're going to do that after the first one here. Alrighty, so again, 12 out of 12 PPR, 2 running back, 2 wide receivers. And if you don't mind sharing it out, letting people know, liking the post so we can get out to more viewers, I really appreciate it. My man Heathrow always checking in right at the top. I always appreciate you, big guy. Let's get this started, though. It's going to start right as I do this. It's going to take a little bit to load, so I'm just going to promote a couple socials while it is. If you don't follow us on Instagram yet, Roto Street Journal on Instagram. You can follow me personally on Twitter at Roto Street Wolf. And, of course, if you're watching, you should probably follow us on Facebook. So any shares, comments, likes, greatly appreciated, guys. And again, we'll be announcing that Madden winner after the first draft. So coming at you, live draft from the 12 spot here. So immediately, this is a full PPR. I know I need to come out with one wide receiver I like. Matt Milliken, I know you entered that Madden contest, so maybe it'll be your name called. Stick around through the first draft at least. Good to see you again, as always, buddy. Appreciate the support. So we got Odell Beckham, my top receiver on the board here. Not really even close. The way him and Baker have been connecting in practice apparently has just been lethal. He throws it to him when he's not open, makes the play, lets OBJ. Baker called him like a cheat code. It's so easy to do the dangerous things he does. And then I do like locking up a dangerous, 3-down horse potential. And all 3 of these guys, Bell, Connor, Mixon, do drip in that potential. Right now, with all these Jalen Samuels reports, I still don't buy it. I think they're going to do a lot of 2-back formations. It's always been a one-horse kind of show. Connor's definitely in line for at least 250 or so carries. All the goal line looks. You had 13 TDs in 13 games last year, and then you remove 15 touchdowns from Antonio Brown. You got to expect the touchdown upside very high with James Conner, even if he sheds a few receptions to Jalen Samuels. Maybe that helps preserve him over the stretch run so you don't lose him in your fantasy playoffs. I got to go with the Steelers workhorse. 6 straight years of RB6 numbers for a Steelers workhorse. So I'm going running back, wide receiver here to start this draft. And that's kind of how I start most of these drafts. I usually get a workhorse early, and then I find that wide receiver that falls. Right at that 12 spot, I'm not going to do it any different. I could consider maybe wide receiver, but Adams and Hopkins were gone. So I'd like to stick to that really elite top tier if I'm going to do something like that. Then Marlon Mack falling all the way in round 3. People might be a little bit worried, though. Donta Foreman, is he going to steal that goal line looks? What's happening there? It is questionable. And, he's got that sketchy injury history already. The guy I'd rather look at here is the steam freight train himself. You guys see me pick him all the time, and that's Derrick Henry. I'm probably going to go running back, wide receiver here, but you see a lot of other running backs you got to like Chris Carson and whatnot. So let's see what other wide receivers have fallen. You're looking square at those high upside receiver 2s. I do like Brandon Cooks, 1,000 yards in every professional season he's had so far. Tyler Lockett really intrigues me, and he's probably the most intriguing of this bunch. To me, the running back depth is so high here still. I don't know if I have to go running back. I can kind of just hope one of these guys falls to me. Chris Carson, I love him. You guys, if you watched these before, I've raved about him and David Montgomery. So with so much depth here, I'm going to take my favorite guy, and that's Derrick Henry. I'm going to hope one of those other guys falls to me. Even if I have a lot of them ranked higher than Tyler Lockett, I'm going to lock up Derrick Henry. I know it's full PPR league, and he definitely takes a little bit of value hit, but still, I'm going to lock him in. And then we'll go Tyler Lockett, my favorite wide receiver, the bunch, just a little bit higher than Brandon Cooks in my big board. They're saying it's going to be more of a four-headed monster with Cooper Kupp looking as healthy as he ever has. Josh Reynolds really kind of expanded that role, brought a big body to that receiving core, and they're saying now he's staying at the locked-in role. So, that brings a little bit less clarity to that situation. Cooks is still going to kill it, but he is a little inconsistent. I think Lockett is that true number one for the Seahawks, offers a little bit more upside. Was the wide receiver 14 last year, and I think he only had 70-something targets, one of the most efficient receivers in the league. Doug Baldwin's gone. You really could see this guy taking that next step. Apparently, he's been moving all over the place. There's a great report I read. I'll move on from Lockett in a sec, but a great report I read how they've out of 13x what amount of years covering the Seahawks, they've never seen someone be moved around in a concerted effort to try to feature a guy quite like Lockett this offseason. So I think you gotta keep him in mind. I'm not looking at a quarterback ever this early. I do want to look at the runners, and there he is, Chris Carson, the other guy I was going to go there over Lockett, has fallen. That's exactly what I wanted to happen. So let me take him now. Got my 3 running backs now locked up, and they're beauties too. Again, I'll show you the draft board real quick. I like this view a little bit better. But here at 12, you can see Odell Beckham, my 8th overall, no doubt there. I like the value on Connor. The safest, that's a tough debate there. When you go Bell, you got, Mixon. I'm not going Melvin Gordon until I know more. I'm not touching Zeke right now. So the first round's going to start to look a little bit different. But these are the guys that I really like. Derrick Henry, a great value right there. Oh my God, you gotta be fucking kidding me. It seems like people are still joining, but I'm frozen, which is a little bit confusing. I don't know if you can hear me, Dave Mock. I see you joined, so can you let me know? Am I frozen for you, or is this thing still rolling? I can never tell with this fucking technology. It's so stupid. It pisses me off beyond belief. But let me know if I'm still rolling, because I do have to announce the Madden winner, and I'll make sure to get live again if this is not working for you guys. So please just let me know that if this is running, Dave Mock. Seems like it's probably not. This fucking sucks. Oh, no, we're back. Sorry for that little rant, but here we are. It is unfrozen. Thank you for those that have stuck through it. Thanks, Jordan. I see you there. You're definitely one of the names that has been entered quite a few times for the pod reviews and everything. So here's our team through 5 rounds. I love the 3 running backs I've got. And I'll probably take another wide receiver, although if there's an edge-gaining tight end, a guy like O.J. Howard, if he's fallen, you got to consider him. And he's sitting right there. So I probably will go O.J. Howard. Let's see what kind of wide receivers are here. Yeah, I do love Robbie Anderson. I do love Christian Kirk, Will Fuller. They're all, to me, very similar tiers. And I know there's a ton of receivers that are going to go off the board between now and then, but to me, O.J. Howard, by far the biggest edge I can gain at this stage of the draft. I think he's the next one to really ascend to that elite Andrew Luck, Travis Kelce, George Kittle. I think O.J. Howard averaging 16.6 yards per reception. It's a tight end, insane vertical speed, all that good stuff. So I love him. Now, everyone knows I love Kyler Murray. That should not be a shock. And at this point of the draft, quarterbacks are starting to fly. That means, though, there's probably some good runners still here. I love Latavius Murray. You got your handcuff, Rashad Penny. You got Dion Lewis, Tariq Cohen, as some intriguing. And this is PPR too, so Tariq Cohen, a huge potential steal this late in the draft. I'm not sure I'm going to look quarterback quite yet. I don't even need a third receiver. Actually, we only start 2 in this league. That's why it's very important to know your scoring settings. I do love guys like Curtis Samuel, Marvin Jones, an intriguing value here. And you guys know I love Dante Moncrief. But because I only start 2 receivers and not 3, I'm going to just keep loading up on my stable. I'll get myself a nice safe pick in Cohen for a PPR league. Lamar Miller has to be of consideration here too. But there is such great running back depth, even though I love guys, I'm hoping like a Darrell Henderson or Murray falls next round. But none of these receivers, again, I don't feel the need. I do really like D.D. Westbrook, and I think that's the guy out of this whole group I'd reach on. Apparently, he's really taken that next level right there. So I'm going to take a consideration here. I'm going to jump on D.D. Westbrook. But I really like these running backs so much more. The upside of Darrell Henderson here. And with quarterbacks, I'm not going to succumb to the quarterback run. I'm going to hope some of those guys fall to me. Yeah, know what your opponents have. If all of them have quarterbacks, it means that I might get another round or 2 without them. So to me, the highest potential upside here I gotta go. I think Darrell Henderson. The upside of Gurley's ever hurt. The fact that Sean McVay considered him the most explosive player in the draft. They want him to use him in that Kamara-style role. Miller definitely had the higher floor there, especially with Donta Foreman release. Lots of touchdown potential. But to me, I'm going there. And then my guy Kyler's here. So let's get him. None of those quarterbacks went. So that's just, again, keeping in mind that none of those guys went. You check the draft board, and most teams, if 10, 11 quarterbacks have been taken, I'm the last one to go here. That means a lot of these guys are still going to be on the board. So I like Kyler Murray. I saw DeSean Jackson up there, and I know I need some wide receiver help. I think he's one of the biggest steals of the draft right now. He'll be definitely featured as a value. Between him and Moncrief, I really would like to target any one of those guys. And then now you look, the running back drop-off was enormous, so I am glad I got one last plunge in that pool. I probably won't look the rest of the draft. Guys like Kalen Ballage and them maybe eventually. But no, not an Anthony Miller fan. Definitely would rather go DeSean Jackson. Apparently those two have been connecting on all cylinders all camp, him and Carson Wentz. It's just been deep ball, beautiful magic being made. So I'm going to go with him. Some intriguing tight ends we just saw jump off the board there. I already have O.J. Howard. There is some injury concern, so a guy like Austin Hooper isn't a bad pick here. But why, if you're going to take that early plunge, why waste a roster spot on him? I'd rather get, a nice, safe backup QB. This is where something like Jameis Winston, I love Jameis Winston's upside, but I can't pair him and Murray because there's a chance both of them fall flat on their faces. I need a safe backup, someone like Rivers, someone like Big Ben. They're all still sitting there, though, so I don't see the need to jump right now. I really like Carlos Hyde. I really like Jalen Samuels. They have that handcuff upside in elite offenses, which are guys I love to target this late. I look at the rest of these wide receivers, nothing I can't get later on in my draft. There's no one here standing out who's like, I must go get this guy. Paris Campbell, one of the guys that does fall a lot, that would qualify right here. But right here, there's like Trey Quinn, some PPR guys that I like to see. There's an upside with Deebo Samuel, but none of these stand out to me. Jameson Crowder, a 90 catch candidate. Again, none of these guys standing out to me right now. So I'm going to go with those upside running backs, those elite handcuffs with Carlos Hyde. And I do have James Conner, remember? So Jalen Samuels is a must pick at that point. So again, let's look at this draft board. I think it's coming out fantastic for you, Justin. So you started Odell, James Conner. I love that strategy of receiver horse. Then we went the stallion of them all at 36. I think is insane value. Tyler Lockett, I think, fell real far. And Chris Carson value of the draft right now. Again, the run heaviest team in the league, 33 carries a game. And this guy's got the greatest slice of that humongous ground pie. O.J. Howard, though, round 6. This team is unbelievable. You got these great running back depth here. You only start 2 receivers, so realistically, I'm probably only going Odell and Tyler Lockett. Got Jackson in case anything doesn't pan out there, and now I'm just going to maybe stack a few more upside bench wide receivers here and call this one a wonderful draft. I'm a huge fan, though. I like Albert Wilson a good amount more than Kenny Stills. I'm not a Deshaun Hamilton fan. I know a lot of people are buying that buzz. For me, he's not a guy I'm targeting. I will get that safe backup now. To me, I'd rather go Rivers than Big Ben if it's just a pure backup. You're getting 4,530 from Philly Rivers, whereas Big Ben, yeah, he led the league in passing yards last year. Definitely has the higher ceiling, but when I have Kyler Murray, I've got my ceiling already taken care of. I don't necessarily need to go and reach on another guy. So I'm going to look at some wide receivers, though. I have Albert Wilson, intriguing potential slot weapon in that Chad O'Shea Patriot-style role. He's got some upside. I think Trey Quinn with that 90-plus catch upside is very intriguing. There's actually a guy, I don't know if he's even on this list, KeeSean Johnson, down at 338. But I'm going to take him, and I'm going to start taking him in every draft right here in the last round because this is the guy that's won the number 3 role behind Christian Kirk and Larry Fitz in that air raid offense. You want some cheap ways in here. David Johnson's not going to come cheap. I do love the prices of Kirk. I love the prices of Larry Fitz. But still, the cheapest possible way in could be KeeSean Johnson, who's apparently been dominating with Kyler Murray. They say he has the best synergy of any receiver so far with Kyler Murray, a fellow rookie, a 6th-rounder. So he falls because everyone thinks Andy Isabella in the speed, Keem Butler in the size. But this is the guy that they're putting in there with the first team because he's been very reliable hands-wise and route-wise, which the other two have not been quite on his level. So even if the two have better, higher athletic ceilings, KeeSean Johnson's carved out that number 3 role in an offense that I think is going to lead the league in pass attempts, lead the league in pace. Any little piece of that passing game is valuable. So KeeSean Johnson, just want to make sure I go on that rant. One of my favorite wide receiver penny stocks. It's someone I love taking at the end of every draft. So I got a nice B-. Typical. If I love my team, it's usually going to be a B- to C range. I want to make sure Justin sees the KeeSean Johnson pick here at the bottom. And that's our first one, which brings us to what a lot of you guys might be in here for. Give me a little drum roll here. We're going to pick the Madden winner. So again, we sifted through all those comments. We sifted through all the reviews, all the subscriptions, which was the biggest way to get names. We threw them all into this random name generator. And it is the time to pick our winner. So let's go through with that right now. See, pick random name. I'm just going to press this button. They're all entered. And it's going to have names start kind of flying around. You'll see some of the most popular names that I entered the most. And somebody's name's going to pop up. So our Madden winner, ladies and gentlemen. Matt giving me the drums, giving himself some good juju here. What do we got? And our winner is Matt. They're giving us the drum roll, and you end up winning it. So I'll screenshot that so everyone knows. But what a perfect, if you're watching and tuned in live, that's just even better. So we hit the button, and Matt, it has taken you. So you're the best one. Wolf, I left work early. It might be fired because of it. For sole purpose of watching the Wizard, give your boy some help. Mike, thank you for commenting in. Let me know your settings. I would love to help you out. I'm going to start getting it set up. Let me know where you're drafting from and whatnot. But again, congratulations to Matt. I'll write that in the comments right now. Congrats at Matt as the 2019 Madden winner. So, Mike, I'm giving you some time. Comment in. I'm glad you got fired for my sake. You deserve to win your league, other than maybe Jimbo Slice, who writes for me. Maybe you can join the squad, too. Let me know where I can draft for you. Alrighty. And now I'm going to load up this. I've got a draft request here for a friend, Mike. So I'm going to, until I hear from you, I'm just going to get another one started. But I'd love, you got it in. So I'll do that other one another time because I only got time for one more right here. Mike, it's coming right here for you. 4th pick as I'm getting it ready here. So 4th out of 12. And I'm going to say right now, unless Zeke shows up, that used to be my favorite spot, but right now, there's really only a big 3 at this point. You got your C-Mac, your Kamara. I have Kamara first, actually, personally. And then you got Saquon at this point, my number 3. But, so 4th pick, 12-team, full PPR, 3 wide receivers, 1 flex. So 3 wide receivers, 1 flex. I love these settings, by the way. I'm more of a half PPR guy, but I like that you're starting 3 wide receivers in a flex there. But thanks again to everyone that participated in that Madden competition. I know Jordan and Steven, you guys have reviewed. You guys are always such loyal Wolfpack members. I may have secretly been pulling for you guys. Matt, another guy that is always tuning in and commenting. So I'm glad you guys, at least our loyal Wolfpack was represented there well. There will be more contests, though, more gear giveaways and all that good stuff. All right, Mike, so you left work early. I don't want you to get fired, but if you did, let's give you the winning formula here and make it worth your while. 4th of 12 PPR, 3 wide receivers in a flex, very deep league. And so as this was loading, as I was kind of alluding to, I'm not a huge fan of that 4th pick. I used to love it. I used to think it was the best one because I loved that top tier and was kind of happy with whoever I got. But now with Zeke and Melvin Gordon's holdouts, everything in that first round becomes a whole lot shakier. So as this is loading, it does sometimes take a second to get going. I apologize if it freezes for a second here. Saquon goes first. And Zeke went. So, maybe your league will be dumb. There's no doubt about it. I'm going Alvin Kamara. He's my number 1 overall right now. I'm not even going to sit and debate anything else. The easy no-brainer there, especially in a PPR league. Guy has a cheat code. He had like a 33-point per game, fantasy point per game without Ingram. I know Latavius Murray is going to steal some of that volume, but it certainly might happen. And then Tyreek Hill falling all the way here, probably a no-brainer. I do love Damian Williams, and I think the running back drop-off is huge behind him, but the hamstring, the Carlos Hyde, give me the sure thing. Give me the number 1 scoring wide receiver from last year, the biggest fantasy home wrecker, the second that no pun intended, I guess. But the second you think you're out of it, the guy drops a 90-yard bomb down your opponent's throat. And then Damian Williams, the guy I was going to even consider. I love Ty. I think going wide receiver is not bad. But Damian Williams, yes, there's the concerns of the hamstring, but no doubt about it. For now, until I know Hyde's actually going to steal some work, the running backs coach has said, I'm not worried about it. He's been a great study, a great student of the game in the locker, the film room. He's going to get back on the field. He's our starter. He's our guy. He's been endorsed by everybody this offseason. And remember, he scored 10 touchdowns in only 6 games, 22 fantasy points per game. So, Mike, if this draft happened, I would be ecstatic if I was you. Kamara, Tyreek, Damian, and then a lot of intriguing names still falling right back towards the top. Derrick Henry, you fucking kidding me? The steamroller himself? I'm not passing that up. He's like another guy I may have considered over there. I do love Tyler Lockett. I do want to kind of check my opponent's rosters. I wouldn't be passing up on Derrick Henry. I know it's PPR, but just that chance. He's the number one scorer running back in every format, including PPR over that last stretch of the season, those final 4 games. He was a legitimate terror. So to me, I got to go with him. Now let's check the wide receivers. At this point, you do want to start considering a guy. Christian Kirk's there. DJ Moore's got some upside for sure. Allen Robinson could be a potential target hog. But I don't love any of those guys. And I saw Lockett was on the board, and you kind of look back, and you're like, oh, shit. I could have had Montgomery or Carson anyways. So maybe that's one of the few areas where I might reconsider here. Sorry for the freezing, of course. If Zeke falls to you at 40, you go DJ instead. I do, Mike. At this point, I can't go Zeke until I know he's going. Apologize, stick through that freezing, I hope, guys. I appreciate it if you do. I'm just going to keep rolling and pretending it never froze. But yeah, Mike, if Zeke fell to me at 4 and DJ was there, I'm going DJ. I need the safety right now. So let me know when you're drafting, but hopefully you have some time. I do like Alshon Jeffrey, although Deshaun Jackson really could end up being that number 1 target there. So I can't guarantee I'd go him. This is tricky. I don't feel a ton of love for... I love Derrick Henry, don't get me wrong, but I don't feel safe about it. And so in that case... maybe I do go David Montgomery here. And now this is one where it's like, let's look back here, Mike. Maybe instead of Williams, let's say you had T.Y. Hilton, you had Kamara, Tyreek, T.Y. Henry, and now David Montgomery or Carson. That might be the better start. I wish I could go back and put T.Y. here, especially if you knew Derrick Henry was going to fall as far as he did. But nonetheless, you know me, I'm a stable builder. I always will just load up on running backs. That's the position where there's so much turnover, so much bust rate, so much just every injury, all that stuff. So you got to get a nice stable. I'll go with David Montgomery because none of these wide receivers are that much above the next tier, and you got to think at least 2 of these next tier guys are going to fall to me, whereas these running backs, the 3-down potential horse, that's where I'm leaning, that's where I'm looking. O.J. Howard, the other guy I was considering there, but just in case one of my running backs so far doesn't pan out, Damian Williams and Henry, high ceilings as anybody in the game, but still, risks, definitely risks, so that's why I added another running back there. Christian Kirk, to me, the no-brainer. I didn't even want to look at what other running backs or wide receivers are there. He's the leader in the clubhouse at the air raid offense, the number 1 target, played with it in college. He's the best receiver on the team, according to every report. So I like him quite a bit. And then let's keep looking here. I love the value on Baker. You know me. I never reach on QB, but round 7 for Baker. I want to see what other wide receivers are here. You start 3 wide receivers, which makes this even a little bit trickier now. And I love guys like D.D. Westbrook, Curtis Samuel. You're going to be tossing something you don't love into that position. And then there's the tight end edge, though. Jared Cook, to me, a clear tier above a lot of these guys. But if I think Baker Mayfield's going to throw for 5,000, I think Baker Mayfield's going to throw for 40 touchdowns. At the end of the day, though, I have Christian Kirk, Kyler Murray. We've seen quarterbacks. The temptation's so real here. You know how badly I want Baker Mayfield this year. Again, 5,000-yard, 40 TD upside in that offense. It's going to be tough. Derrick Henry meet again. I agree. It's like, what the fuck? Keep going in on him. But round 4, again, guy was on 1,600, 17 touchdown pace or something of that nature at the end of the year. I love the idea of Jared Cook here and the touchdown upside he brings. But there's still, if Vancey McD falls to the next round, I'm going to get a third wide receiver I feel really good about. And between Curtis Samuel and Dede Westbrook, that's what I've got it at. I'm going to go Dede. Lock that in. No need to look at running backs anymore. Your stable of 4 is so good. Maybe Darrell Henderson next round if he falls. Starting to see some tight ends come off the board. Let's hope that Vancey McBigDick falls. And he did. And to me, he's a clear edge over all these guys. So Vancey McBigDick, he's going in. And then it comes back to me. And there's still a lot of quarterbacks I like. Again, that Baker pick is going to be one that's going to sit with me for a little bit. I love Latavius Murray. He's my handcuff as well for Alvin Kamara. So I love the value on him at this point, plus the handcuff benefit. To me, that's a no-brainer. I got to lock that in. What a great insurance policy and some standalone value. Don't forget him and Ingram, RB3 and RB5 just 2 seasons ago, which is pretty wild. And then you still got all the QBs you like. I got to look at wide receivers now. Is anything falling? I mean, Sanders, to me, I think is one of the better values. He's looking great in practice. Is my boy. DK is gone, but Paris Campbell, rookie, very exciting, electric yards after the catch player. So he could be a guy. You know my feelings on Trey Quinn. Sanders is someone I'm really considering here. Do I lock up my QB, though? You still got Newton, Goff, Winston, and there's 10 quarterbacks or so gone. That's where it gets tricky. I'm going to go out and get my guy, and this is kind of where I always say that at this point of the draft is I love Kyler. I think he's this year's Mahomes, so I'm going to go out and I'm going to get him no matter the fact that most people would take Newton. I'm going to go Kyler. I'm all in on the air raid. I'm going to pair those guys up. D'India, welcome back to the show as always. Do you think OBJ and Landry can both finish top 12? That'd be real tricky, Matt. I think that's a great question. I think OBJ is a lock for it as long as you get the health. I think he could be the number 1 guy in fantasy. Landry and PPR maybe, because I think he's going to be helped by OBJ. I think him stealing the defensive attention, kind of stretching the field a little bit, that was lacking on the Browns last year, and he does so much better, Landry does, when he's got a field stretcher. Even just Kenny Stills' presence in Miami. That's where he gets that room to roam and rack up 90 or so catches. I don't know where he fits into the touchdown puzzle here when you got a great red zone threat in David Njoku. Obviously, Odell Beckham is open as can be, even when he's covered and makes those ridiculous grabs. So where does Landry fit in touchdown-wise? You told me he gets 90 catches, 1,200 yards. I would believe every second of it, and that's a great, wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 in PPR. But without those touchdowns, I can't see him finishing top 12, Matt. But fantastic question. In terms of from here, where do we go? I like to get my backup to fill Kyler Murray, a huge risk. I know all the factors. He's too short. He's too small. He could get led up by a defense. And in that case, is he going to make it through? I don't know. So you definitely need a good, safe backup. And to me, John Brown is a little bit higher than the rest of these wide receivers. So I might, what pick is this? Is this where I'm going to have a million after me? So there's going to be a million guys going after me. Do I lock up my safe, top backup? I only have 3 wide receivers so far. So I'm going to go with the most impressive offensive player reportedly in the Bills practice. Is it that hard to be the most impressive offensive player on the worst team in the league? Paris Campbell was there. I just saw him go. I would have much rather had Paris Campbell there. And then Jared Goff. I'm not even going to look. I think the safety is there, the floor is there, plus the ceiling in year 3 in this system. He apparently has much more natural composure, and he's just looked that much more dominant. We got another great question coming in from D'India. Let's see what that is after this stops the freezing. I know this happens a lot as the picks are loading. So D'India, Wolfie, riddle me this. I have the number 2 pick in a draft that I'm keeping Alvin and Mahomes. Well, unbelievable keepers. You're already getting an elite option at running back and quarterback. So congrats. Well done. That's fantastic. Guy selecting 1 is saying he'll take Saquon. Who do you take? I mean, it's tough to know without who else is going to be there, but you could be looking at, David Johnson, maybe pairing up Alvin and David Johnson. Those guys going to be available. What type of wide receivers are there. I'd kind of want to know a list of who's going to be kept, who's going to be available there. When you're keeping 2 guys, I know the talent pool is going to be a little bit different. But to me, the knee check is Christian McCaffrey's probably being kept. Maybe David Johnson, he's my number 4 player, is there for you. That'd be a fantastic guy. You get Devontae Adams, the safest wide receiver in the game. And that way you have an elite option at quarterback running back and receiver. So anything like that, maybe you go that. Most of the top backs are there. So I'd consider David Johnson. I mean, obviously if Zeke reports, then that's the guy. But right now, without knowing he's going to be there, same with Melvin Gordon. Without knowing either of those two guys are going to be there, I think you got to consider David Johnson there at number 5. I'm all in on that air raid. Got to be all in on the stallion that's going to lead the charge there. So at this point, I've got my team pretty much figured out. I got my two quarterbacks. Now it's all about upside depth, and nothing comes more upside than Jalen Samuels. Now, I should have been more diligent about getting Carlos Hyde. That's going to probably haunt me to the day I die, probably go to the grave, thinking about Carlos Hyde. I'm a Damian Williams owner. I got my handcuff in Latavius Murray, but I did not secure it with Damian Williams, who's arguably even riskier. Arguably, he definitely is riskier, and Carlos Hyde could potentially steal that job. So again, as I'm making the picks, it definitely is starting to freeze. I got, I think, one last pick here. Let's kind of look through. Could be Jamal Williams has some upside. I don't love my wide receivers. Oh, you know what? I'll just kind of remind you guys. This guy, KeeSean Johnson, baby. 338 ranked right there. That's going to be the play. Jordan Reed, though, this late, there's not too many risks when it's your last overall pick and you got a talent like Jordan Reed in an offense with so many targets up for grabs. I'll lock him in case Vancy McBigDick doesn't work out. And then my last pick coming here. Oh, Justin Jackson was sitting there. So a couple names just to toss out there. Justin Jackson. Can't believe he was still sitting there. That would have been the no-brainer, especially with the Melvin Gordon holdout. Really not looking any better. And then KeeSean Johnson. Going to toss him in and wrap up another beautiful draft, in my opinion. So let's get you a little screenshot of this. I didn't get Deshaun Jackson, a guy I seem to always end up with. How many fucking rounds is this? Jesus Christ. Is there any other, that's where I should have gone. Justin Jackson, maybe take a guy. Let's see, is there anybody? I have no other handcuff that I need. Any other wide receivers sitting here late that I could just, hope for the upside, hope for the best? Trey Quinn, 90 catch upside. I always talk about him. So let's get a little Trey Quinn action on here. And that's going to wrap this one up, folks. A-, the first good draft I've got in a while goes to you, Mike Less. My boy, Mike Less. Get you those two little sleeper receivers there on the bench. So, Mikey, hope that one helped you out. At this point, I do got to get running. I got some tacos to go eat. Denny Jennings, if you're tuning in, I know you know that. Taco Tuesday never gets old. But guys, thank you so much as always. It's your daily draft wizard. I'm the Wolf of Roto Street at Roto Street Wolf. If you want a draft done for you and your needs, hit me up on Twitter. Text me if you know my number. Message us on Facebook. We would be glad to customize any type of draft for you. Alrighty, guys. Thanks again so much for tuning in. And until tomorrow, peace.